Hello students, welcome to the next session of software engineering. Today we shall be continuing with the chapter 1 of unit 3 where we will be covering design concepts and design model. Let's understand what do we mean by design concept. So design concept is nothing but the general ideas, okay, that are used in the design process. So basically by using these concepts, they will help us to plan and build our software in a better way. Okay, so by using these ideas, you can have a better plan of how to build our particular software. So let's look into what are the various design concepts that we have. The first one you have is abstraction. So abstraction is nothing but simplifying things. Okay, so like for example, you are designing for a car. So instead of concentrating on how exactly the car engine is working, how is it taking me from point A to point B, you can simply concentrate on this is how I have to start the car and it will take me to point A to point B. That is called as abstraction. So in abstraction, you basically have three different types of abstractions: procedural, data and control. So if you talk about procedural abstractions, it only talks about process. So it will tell you this is the process. Okay, instead of talking about how is this process happening. Okay, it will only tell you have to go from point A to point B by starting the car. It will not talk about how you are going or how is your car taking you from point A to point B. That is called as procedural abstraction. The next one you have is data abstraction. In data abstraction, instead of giving elaborate details about your data, you will simplify everything. Like for example, instead of saying this is student ID, this is student name, this is student roll number, you simply say this is student detail. That's it. That is called as data abstraction. The third one you have is control abstraction. So control abstraction basically talks about how different parts of your program are talking to each other. Okay, so it simplifies the control flow. That means it is making it easier to manage how different parts of your program are interacting with each other. That is called as control abstraction. Okay, the next component you have is refinement. So basically your abstraction helps you to simplify things, but if you want to have a detailed knowledge, then you have to go for refinement. So refinement basically talks about how a bigger idea is divided into smaller steps. Okay, like for example, say suppose you have one functionality which is called as manage student records. Okay, so instead of simply saying manage student records, if you want to give details of it, that is what am I actually managing in student records. So you can say like I'm adding a student, I'm updating student details, I'm deleting a student. So this is called as refinement. Giving details is called as refinement. The next one you have is modularity. So modularity, as you know, is dividing your bigger software into small independent parts which are called as modules. Okay, and each module will perform a specific task. Like for example, if you are having a school management system, so you can have a student module, you can have a teacher module, you can have a course module. Each will be performing certain individual tasks. That is called as modularity. And as you can see in this particular graph, as the number of modules are increasing, the cost per module will decrease, but the cost to integrate these modules will increase. Okay, finally, though you are developing as individual modules, you have to integrate them at the end. So cost per module is decreasing, but the integration cost of the module is increasing. This is about the modularity. The next design concept that you have is architecture, right? So architecture is like see, modules are individual components which perform their own functionalities, but if you want to show a bigger picture of your software where all these modules are interacting with each other and they are integrated with each other, then that becomes the architecture. So architecture will give you the complete picture of your particular software. Okay, the next one you have is information hiding, right? So in information hiding, we should make sure that you are keeping the details hidden inside each module. Okay, you should only show what are necessary. Like for example, say suppose you have a module which talks about student grades. So that module should only display the student grades. It should not show that how these grades are being calculated. That is called as information hiding. The next one you have is control hierarchy. So control hierarchy is showing which level is controlled by which particular user. Like for example, in an organization, you will be having the principal, then you will be having HOD, then you will be having faculty, then you will be having student. So your control hierarchy should talk about what are the controls of principal, what can be controlled by teacher, what can be controlled by student. Okay, if you are trying, you have to show that particular hierarchy in your particular design also. That is called as control hierarchy. The next one you have is structural partitioning. Structural partitioning is basically organizing your complete software, okay, in a particular order. Like for example, in structural partitioning, you have two types, horizontal partitioning and vertical partitioning. Horizontal partitioning shows a design in which you will be having a clear picture as to what is the input I have to give to my software, where is that input going inside, how is it getting processed at various levels, and how am I getting the output. If you are trying to show such type of design, that becomes horizontal partitioning. The next one you have is vertical partitioning. Vertical partitioning talks about a design where you are showing the different levels of controls. That means if you are an admin, this is how you have to follow. If you are a student, this is how you have to follow. These are your controls. Okay, so that is called as vertical partitioning, where you are showing the control from top to bottom. So this is called as structural partitioning, and these are the various design concepts that will be helping us to easily plan, okay, a better software design. Now let's talk about the next concept, which is called as the design model. Okay, so design model is basically a detailed plan of how we are going to build our software. Okay, design model is basically a detailed plan that we are giving, telling that how my software will be built. Okay, and it will be evolving over the time, right? So generally your design models will be using various UML diagrams to represent the different aspects of the system. Using these UML diagrams, you will understand what are the different aspects of the software that I am developing. That is called as the design model. Okay. Now this particular design model consists of 5 different types of elements. So as you can see here, these are called as elements under the design model. The first element you have is the data design element. Second you have is the architectural element. Third is interface element. Fourth is component level element. And fifth is deployment level element. So let's talk about what these main elements in our design model. Let's start with the first one, which is called as the data design element. Okay, so this particular part of the design basically focuses on how data will be organized and structured in our particular software. Okay, like for example, you have a school management system. So you should show like how the student data is stored, how the teacher data is stored, how the course data is stored, how is it managed. So all that you have to show in this particular data design element. Okay, the next one you have is architectural design element. So here you should be describing the bigger structure of your particular software, right? So where you will be, like for example, you are creating a floor plan for your house. Okay, so you have to show what are the different rooms, okay, how they are connected with each other, how many floors will be there. Okay, you have to give a bigger plan of it. That is called as the architectural design, which gives you a bigger structure of the software that you are developing. The next one you have is interface design. So this part of your design will actually describe how my software is interacting with users, other systems, and the components inside it. Okay, so in users, via some user interface, like you have buttons, menus, forms and all. So using that, I am interacting with my users. How is my software interacting with other systems? Like for example, some external connections. Like you have APIs, you have the FTPs, UDPs and all. How is it getting connected? You have HTTP connections and all. So how is my software interacting with the external system? The third one you have is internal component. So this talks about how my software is interacting with the internal parts of the software, how they are interacting with each other. That is called as the interface design. The next element you have in your design model is the component level design. So component level design talks about the smaller parts of the software in detail. Like for example, I told you previously also, if you have a login component in your software, okay, you might be talking about what is happening inside this login component. It is checking usernames and passwords and all. So each individual component, how is it independently working and how is it connecting with the whole software is being taught in this particular element, which is called as the component level element. Okay, so these are the various different types of elements that you have under the design model. Okay, you have the data design element, architectural design element, you have the interface design element, component level element, and the last one you have is deployment level design element. Okay, so this basically shows how my software will be set up in the real world. Okay, it describes where each part of the software will run. Like for example, is it running on a server, or is it running on a user computer, is it running on a mobile application, where is the setup of this particular software. If you are trying to show it in the form of a design, that is called as the deployment level design element. Okay, so using these 5 different types of elements, I will be able to successfully create a design model which will be giving me the detailed plan of the software in different perspectives, right? So for giving this particular design model, I will be using UML diagrams. So you know that we have 9 different types of UML diagrams: class diagram, use case, sequence, activity, state chart, component and deployment. All these 9 different types of UML diagrams will be talking about these 5 different elements. Okay, so each diagram is used for different types of elements. So this is all about your your design engineering. Okay, so with this we have completed with our first chapter in our unit 3. Thank you.